Hello. IS300. And kind of your typical stock, which is somewhat atypical, I suppose. But your typical stock IS300. It's black on black. It's a sedan. It's an automatic. All that is typical S2000. Also, and did I say S2000? IS300. A very different car. And also typical, 228,000 miles. And I've driven it a little bit just to get it out here for the photo shoot. We'll drive it more in a second. I invite you to tag along. It drives really, really, really well, which again is typical IS300. Shockingly well for almost 230,000 miles. So let's poke around it. It drives really well. It looks pretty darn good, but it's not perfect. So let's see what's wrong with it. The paint is largely pretty good. The roof definitely has a whole bunch of imperfections in it on close inspection. Far away it looks fine, but you see there's a bunch of pitting, you know, bird dropping marks. There's a little mark there. Looks like water runoff off this antenna. You know, clear coat looks like it's largely pretty okay, but there's a fair amount of damage to the paint on the roof. Rest of the paint looks pretty good. Hood has some imperfections as well. This is the biggest one here. That almost looks like an egg mark. Hi. Some rock chips on this fender. We'll pop the hood. I think this one fender has been replaced at one point in the past because it's missing its VIN sticker. But a lot of VIN stickers everywhere else on the car. Headlamps are nice and clear. Fog lights are kind of, dare I say, foggy. Some rock chips. A little split in the paint here on this mirror cap. Some small pits and chips on the windshield. A little bit of early kind of oxidation on the paint here on the top of this door. You know, wheels look really good. Maybe it looks like it's maybe been refinished. But you know, wheels look really good. I love these 5 spokes. Tires, what do we got here? They're Michelin's. Pilot Sport all seasons, excellent tires. And 2024 date codes. So yeah, lots of tread, fairly new, and yeah, really sticky all seasons. Back bumper, this gap, a little bit imperfect. A little bit of moisture in this tail light. Quarter panel looks really good. Top of the deck lid, you know, like a true paint correction is going to help this paint out a lot. Not quite as bad as the roof, but you know, there's a lot of imperfections in this paint. From back here, looks great. The top of this bumper, clear coat's pretty faded. From back here, that's kind of the story of this car. You're 5 feet away, this thing looks killer. Oh, I just noticed too, there's this little bit of the rubberized coating on this belt molding starting to go. Pretty common, pretty easy to fix. You can just cut that off and just paint it and you're about 90% of the way there. Some bubbles in the tint on this rear window. All right, let's go inside. All imperfection there. That's on top of the paint, it feels like. It's sap or something. In here, looks pretty good. A little bit of wear here on this Alcantara. Some of the paint's worn away on that trim. But for 228,000 miles, the interior looks great. Some damage on the piping. But overall, nice place to be. $228,863 is our current mileage. HVAC system works. We've got AC. It blows cold. Auto works. All the various speeds work. Blend door works. Headlights work. We've got auto on. Signals, high beams. Those are down. Those are down and up. Let's, our compass works. Hi. Sunroof, let's see, tilt. We've got tilt. We have open. Even more importantly, we have close. There's a little bit of marks here on the face of this passenger side of the dash. Dash isn't cracked, it all looks good. We can hold cups. We can brake emergently. I don't think this guy is like totally programmed. I haven't played with it, but it looks like, I mean, it's all here. Bluetooth, you've got this fun touch screen. Presumably you can make phone calls. It is set up to run a backup camera. Let's see if there's anything in there. Ooh, what do we got? Death Row, greatest hits. All right. I'm not going to talk mess about Suge, though. It's a bad idea. Let us pop the hood. I'm excited. I get to listen to some Death Row greatest hits on my drive home. We're not going to do it in the video. I don't want to get copyright stricken. And yes, it is included. We're gonna include that with the sale of this IS. So a few things I did notice under here. First off, it's pretty clean. Sounds buttery smooth. Of course, the world famous 2JZ GE. Outrageously reliable, and you can do angry things with it if you decided you wanted to feed it some boost. A couple things I did notice. I mentioned, I think this fender's been replaced. You look at this one, there is a VIN sticker. You look at this one, those bolts have been undone, and that's where the sticker would be. So I think this fender's been replaced, but I don't see anything too scary structurally going on. So, you know, crunch fender, unbolted, bolt a new one on. Black's an easy color to match, paint it to match, and send it. Other thing I did notice was, hold on, I'm gonna try and juggle this hood. I noticed this. That's a timing belt replacement sticker. I didn't see anything recent on the Carfax. This looks to me, it's kind of hard to read, but it looks like it's, I think it's 2013, and I think that's roughly 91,000 miles. So at 228, it's certainly If it wasn't done at 180-ish thousand miles, it's going to be due whenever you're ready. So, you know, for me, cheap insurance, you can put huge miles on these cars so long as you look after them. I would do the timing belt if I were buying this car. That would be the one thing I would do on it. Make sure that's addressed. And at the same time, do what looks like the valve cover. You can see it's definitely leaking a little bit of oil. It's not burning off, it's not leaving puddles, it's not leaving marks on the floor, but it is a little bit damp with engine oil. And you know, if you're doing that timing belt service, valve cover, I believe is coming off anyways. Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it's a pretty easy repair. Kind of to be expected at the mileage. But yeah. There's our headlights and fog lights. Up, cooling fan works. I hear that going. This trim panel looks great. Got power seats, and they work. Back seats. Looks great. A little bit of wear on the back of this driver's seat. Don't know if I don't know, the kids wearing cleats on the way to soccer practice had a penchant for kicking the parent in the driver's seat, but there's some marks there. Not as bad on this passenger seat. Trunk is good and boring. Not really anything noteworthy in there. But yeah, why don't we do this? Why don't we drive it? We'll see what a, you know, not quite 250,000-mile Lexus drives like, which is great. Let's go do it. All right, let's go. Okay. Let's go. So one thing I'm not sure if I'm able to illustrate realistically with a GoPro here is just how absolutely tight the suspension feels, the brakes feel, the steering feels excellent. It's been a long time since I've driven one of these cars. I don't remember them being this kind of direct and just nimble, but it's wild that this is how this car feels at 228,000 miles. So is it a perfect, flawless example of an IS300? No. Is it better that it has any business being just with the age and mileage that this car has? Absolutely. It feels like there is a lot of life left in this thing. But I've had plenty of high mileage Lexuses before, and so maybe I shouldn't be that surprised. So, if you want to potentially own this 228,000 plus mile Lexus, find the link in the description below if you haven't made it to the auction by now. Go check it out. If it's within the first 7 days of this video posting, that auction is live. So go mix it up in the auction and in the comments. Or if it's after that, go see how it performed. I'm curious. It's kind of an interesting thing. It could go for a little. It could go for a little plus. It could go for, you know, the amount of enjoyment that you can get out of this thing per dollar, I think, is pretty good. So it might go for a fair amount of money. I don't know. But check it out. Bid often, bid early. Thanks for checking this out. And yeah, until next time.